Yeah, I mean, obviously a really disappointing performance for us. I don't think we played well. Um, I respect the way we fought back. I respect the way we never quit on the game. I'm not surprised by that. I mean, that's who we are. I I despise the way we started the game. I think Texas football played harder than Vanderbilt football today, and this is the feeling of one team wanting it more than the other, um, and I think there's accountability that starts with me with respect to being prepared when the ball gets put down. I thought they had more emotional energy and passion to start the game. Thought we were chasing the game down. Obviously, the first play from scrimmage, the 75-yard touchdown, and that's one play, but I think it captures kind of the mindset of where our team was. And we were chasing the game down in the first half, and finally caught up to it in the second half, but it was too late. And I'm disappointed, and yet I'm excited to learn from this and take learning forward and come back tomorrow and keep this team pointed in the direction towards our goals, because they're all out in front of us. But I think, and I told the team this too, we can't play another game like we played today. That's not okay, and I'm excited to see them respond, and I'm excited to respond myself. So with that, I'm happy to open up questions.
What do you think accounted for that slow start today? Like tough road environment or the early kickoff?
I don't want to make excuses. I've got a ton of respect for Texas. I think they did a really nice job having their team prepared, and I just did not feel like it was almost like we felt almost a little entitled, like we were going to show up and play well and create the momentum we needed, instead of kind of emotionally being in the moment and making it happen. And I don't want to go too far down that road, because I need to look at the game and give it some time. But there is an opportunity for us to learn something about being emotionally ready when the ball gets put down, and not having to chase the speed of the game down. I thought against a really fast team, we were just a little sluggish early, and whatever the case may be, I got to look at how we're preparing, how we're training, and those kind of things. But there's something to be learned there. We'll learn from it. We'll move forward.
Aria?
Pavia was sacked 6 times tonight. Was there anything specific with the offensive line that led to kind of that struggle?
I need to really take a look at the film and figure out where the tactical issues were. I mean, I think that's a really good defense that is going to create disruption, and it seemed at times we weren't winning our one-on-ones up front. And at times they were really good in coverage, and so it was Diego trying to scramble out of the pocket and just those seams closing down before he could escape. And so there's always a number of factors. I do feel like we lost some one-on-ones at times that created pressure. I know that there was really tight coverage at times where we weren't sure where to go with the ball, and so we're trying to extend with our feet, and they're collapsing the pocket around them. So we'll take a look. There's a lesson there for us, but obviously when your quarterback's on the move like that, it's never a good thing. I admire the way he finished the game out. I admire the way our offense finished the game out. Though we managed that end of game situation really well, and I would have loved to have seen us recover that onside kick, but we didn't, and the story of the game becomes a slow start that didn't give us enough time to finish, and it's very similar to the game we played against them a year ago in Nashville.
Henry?
I felt like the defense maybe didn't get as much pressure on Arch Manning as perhaps you might have wanted. Just what did you view from that defensive performance today?
They beat us, and I think in the same vein as Aria's question, in terms of winning our one-on-ones, I thought they did a really good job in protection. I think we got blitzers on backs at times, and they were able to protect us. We just didn't win. And so when you don't win and you're sending 5, 6, you're creating enough time for the quarterback to operate and find an open receiver, and that's what they were able to do. I thought our performance defensively lacked detail. The worst part of it to me was just the way we played on our perimeter and our effort to the ball. And again, in our program, to say that we weren't the hardest playing team on the field hurts me. You know, it's painful to say that, but that's how I feel. And I think, you know, in the second half we woke up to that, and I think we started to play the way we want to play. It just was too late.
Henry?
Just looking at that fourth quarter comeback, obviously that was probably a positive from the day. Just what do you do? What do you make of your team in that fourth quarter? 21 points, obviously.
Well, I mean, they're resilient and they believe in each other, and I didn't need that performance to tell me that. I mean, that's what I know about them. You know, I think each of these games reveals something, but this is, you know, we've spent a lot of time together. That's a team that's prideful and that's upset that they didn't represent themselves the right way today, and I feel like I let them down. You know, I mean, that's the feeling we have right now, but I have a ton of respect for them, and I'm excited to let this one hurt, you know, and let that pain kind of purify us, but then reset tomorrow and get back at it, because again, we have everything out in front of us, and we can't play like we played today and continue to say that. Obviously, at some point, everything won't be out in front of us if we don't play the right way. But no matter what, an opportunity to work with these guys, to be back on mission with them, to, you know, to be resilient for them, man, it means a lot to me. And so I'm excited for the chance to respond the right way and keep moving this thing forward.
Last question, Mario. Yeah, you mentioned the perimeter defense, and that's also something you mentioned on Thursday, and you said that's not our biggest strength. So what do you think it is that makes receivers like Texas's so difficult to cover in that kind of short passing game?
Well, they're very skilled, and I think they blocked well on the perimeter too. So, you know, there's leverage in my inside or outside the block based off the call, and then there's playing physically to collapse space. When you're not winning your leverage and sending the ball to the unblocked player, and you're not playing physically and collapsing space, then those plays run away from your pursuit. Now, I got to watch the film, but it seemed to me like we had unblocked players at the point and we weren't finishing the tackles, you know, and so that's a fundamental technical thing we can work on. We can make that easier on people when we collapse space around the ball. I'm really interested to watch how, you know, if there's a guy on a block with the right leverage and there's a defender attacking the ball, I'm interested to see where the other 9 guys are on the field, because it did not feel like we were getting enough people to the ball to keep those plays from becoming explosives. It's one thing to bleed yards. I mean, we'll play patiently, but when those yards become chunks, and obviously the 75-yarder to start, that's a problem. And ultimately, look, what I loved defensively, I thought late we got our cleats in the ground, we kept playing. You know, the early turnover was challenging. We held them to a field goal, and if you look at the game, each side missed a field goal. We had a turnover offensively, and they were able to get 3 points off the turnover. And, you know, in a game, I mean, you don't always know how it's going to look, but in that one, you know, the final numbers are pretty even. That turnover is challenging, and we didn't create one defensively. Well, you're not going to create a turnover if you're not playing the game the right way. And we'll look at that film, and I got a bunch of prideful guys in there and prideful coaches, and we'll find the areas we can improve, and we'll keep charging at it. But this one hurts, and again, a credit to Texas and Coach Sarkisian and the way they played early, and they were able to separate, and it was too much for us to overcome at the end. Love the way our team battled back, but wasn't good enough today.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, guys.